I hope this time it will not be any italeta shida yoyote. Okay, so we start again. So sorry for that. I think it had a small technical issue, but we are back. So, as I was saying, we had several discussions amongst our groups. And one thing that was actually standing out, especially during this past week and this current week, was a lot of people asking about loans. How can I get a loan? How can I do this? And how can I do that? And we thought it wise as Mwalimu Biashara to be able to just address this issue to see how best we can be able to navigate it, how best we can be able to give you the right financial knowledge all around loans. What do loans look like? Why do Kenyans take loans? That's what we're going to be discussing today. And what are the terms of loans and what does it mean when you ideally take a loan? So we have such compelling facts that we're going to be sharing together with you, and then also in an ideal setting to see how best you can be able to keep you so that the next time that you want to take a loan, you can be able to think in a systematic manner and how you can be able to achieve the best. So, as always, I am your financial trainer for the night, Paul Edward Mongi from Mwalimu Biashara. And here, our core business is to do three things: help you grow, protect, uh, help you to make, grow, and protect your money. We're going to be joined together with our financial coach, who's Kenon Bai, and he's going to be taking us through the second session. But as always, I like to just thank each and every person for joining in. And so let's quickly dive in and see what we have in store for us. So, as always, what do Mwalimu Biashara do? We have a curriculum that we normally run at Mwalimu Biashara, and this curriculum is here to ideally help you to grow your finances. And as I said, it's a 10-step curriculum that I'll quickly polish through in less than 2 minutes. So the first and foremost, the most important thing is to ideally get to understand your current financial health. As always, we want to understand not just for yourself, but for your business, for your finances, for your family, and all that. What is your current financial health, and how can we help you to make it better? Then from there, we move to your relationship with money. How is your relationship with money? How are you able to use money? Is money using you, or are you the one using money in a betterment? After that, you go to something called forecasting your plans. And here, we all identify and acknowledge that as individuals, we all have different plans that we have set for our own taking. Some have financial goals, some have to probably take an education plan and all that. So, what is your current financial plan, and how can we be able to help you attain that? After that, we go to curriculum number 4, which is on debt. And we're going to be touching a bit more on this particular topic where we're going to be tackling debt, good debt, bad debt, ugly debt. How can you be able to use money to be able to help you to grow your assets, reduce your ability so that you can be able to be something called wealthy? And then you go to something called savings, which is part and parcel, very important in you trying to be able to grow your wealth. But when you talk about wealth, we cannot talk about wealth without talking about something called investments. For this particular session, we tackled investments last week. So if you want to get a taste of it, kindly just go to our YouTube channel. The link is there on our WhatsApp group. You can be able to click that link and watch the video on investments, which you are able to just touch the creme, the top layer. Yeah. We just touch the top layers about investments. What do you need when you talk about investments? And we also have an investments masterclass coming up on the 18th of September, sorry, and we'd like you to be able to register for that. After that, we talk about risk and returns, and those they normally go hand in hand with investments. So, what is this particular investment that you want to do, whether it be a loan, like we're going to be talking about today? What does that mean for the money that you're going to be taking? What is the risk involved in that? And what are the returns that you're going to be getting along that line? And then we talk about something which is very important and very dear to us about retirement and building your investment portfolio, which is very important because at Mwalimu Biashara, we believe that when you start preparing, immediately you start working, you should ideally have one eye on your work and a second eye on your retirement. How can you be able to start building investments that can be able to help you in your latter years to become very self-reliant and dependent? And then you talk about something called the environment in your finances. What does that mean for your finances? We've seen a lot of talk lately in the news about loans about where Kenya is when it comes to borrowing. What does that mean? And how is that going to affect the money in your pocket? And then we put it all together and we say we've been able to give you the proper curriculum to be able to give you the right tools to elevate your financial journey. All this particular curriculum is NITA certified, and we have been approved, certified, and we've been given the mandate to be able to share it with you. And that's why we have this many webinars and other more topics that are coming around. So that is it from our side, as I mentioned. So what are the upcoming events that we have at Mwalimu Biashara? As I had earlier alluded, this time next week, 1 week from now, we're going to be having something called the Investments Webinar, where we're going to be talking about several things. A 1.5 hour, which is purely meant for us to tackle on all issues regarding investments. So what are the best investments vehicle? How can you be able to put this investment there, and everything to do with all that? We're going to be having that particular session with our financial coach, who's Kenon Bai, who's going to be taking you on a rigorous journey. We know that not everything can be able to be tackled in that 1.5 hours. And that's why once you've been able to sign up for this particular class, you're going to be having an exclusive one-on-one session with our financial coach at your very own convenience, so that you can tell them, fine, this is what I learned in the investments webinar. Now, how can I be able to put this on a practical basis? And that's where you're going to be having that personalized one-on-one session. And inclusive to that, we're going to be giving you also a world-class personal financial tool that can be able to help you to track your expenses, build your budget, and to be able to, most importantly, know where best to invest. So this is what you're going to be doing next week on Thursday, and you can actually book your slot today by using the pay bill number that is down there. Just ensure that you book it, because we normally want these classes to be few. The fewer we are, the more we can be able to have that personalized touch. So you can be able to make a booking of 1,000 Kenya shillings, and then you can be able to make the final payment by next week, so that you don't miss your slot. Other than that, you're going to also be having a very nice special edition in early October. That's going to be on the 4th, where we're going to be talking about the side hustle breakfast. Why is this important, and why should you care? Because we want to ensure that we not only equip you with the right financial knowledge, but we are able to give you the right financial tools for you to be able to go to the next level. And what is this next level that you talk about? It's that level of where you're going to be able to have an extra source of income. So whether you're in the 9 to 5 game, or whether you're in your own biashara, how can you be able to ensure that even as you're working, whether you're providing a value for your company and everything to do with that, you also have something on the side that is going to be able to help you to build your finances. So we're going to be learning several things: how to start right and avoid costly mistakes, especially kwa watu wangu wa biashara, those who have started. I believe we all have stories, if not for us, from people that we've had, venye pesa ilichomeka, how to have a clear strategy for your hustle, and then the secret to turning your passion into profit. Ideally, we're going to be giving you a 90-day action plan starting from October. That ideally means by the time unarukaruka juu Christmas, you have something to celebrate, that at least I had an idea in 2025 and I was able to actualize it. What does this mean? This one is going to be a physical meeting on the Saturday, starting from 9:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. And we are going to be having an early bird discount. This is special for our Kibetians at 1,000 Kenya shillings. And at the gate, you're going to pay 1,500 shillings. So hakuna haja ulipe 1,500 and yet you can be able to pay 1,000 Kenya shillings. So I will be sharing the links on the chat section, so that you can be able to proceed on with this particular move. So I think that is it from my particular side. I would now like to welcome our financial coach, who I believe is already with us, so that you can be able to continue with the webinar. As always, I normally like to say, if you have any questions, kindly feel free to just put them on the chat section. We'd love to hear from you. Share your stories, share your experiences, because this is one way that you can be able to learn together. Kenon, if you can be able to hear me.
Loud and clear, Edward. Thanks a lot for taking us through that first part of this webinar. Looking forward to talk about debt and how to manage loans and all. It's great to have us on board. For our listeners who are going to listen to this recording, Again, it's great to have you as our fans who listen to this even after we are done with it. So we're going to start off. Kindly, Edward, give me rights to share my screen.
For
Then I'll
sure.
be able to take us through what we are going on today. Let me just try that one more time to see that we are ready now. We are happy to take you through this session. We are happy to hear what your experiences are. We'll be engaging on the chat here and there so that then we can always be together in this. There we go. I think my screen is up and we are good to go. Excellent. Just a few questions to start off. I'm not sure how much of this Edward has done, but quick question. On the chat section, please let us know. Have you ever felt like you're working just to pay your debt? On a scale of 1 to 5 on the chat, tell us. 5 means yes, I always feel like I'm always working for my debt. 1 means I am okay. On a scale of 1 to 5 on the chat section, please let us know. Do you ever feel like you're working just to pay debt? Just when you finish paying debts, a new income comes in, madeni imefika kule juu. Then you start again the cycle of hitting the debts, whether it's mama mboga, whether it's a bank loan or a Sacco loan, or let's hear from us on a scale of 1 to 5. Now, by the way, this is easy. Answer what you feel is possible. We want to see that this webinar is personal to you. That's the whole idea. So 5 means Kenon Mwalimu Biashara, I always feel like I'm always working to pay off debts. That's the only thing that it's like a rat race. Then when you put 1 on the chart, you're telling us, I am okay. That's the first point of engagement. Again, I'll be looking out for any responses in the chat. 1 to 5. What does this question mean to you? This is a very intentional way of getting your mind into this webinar because we want to reflect on you. It is more than just information passing. It is actually a situation where you say, about it. What is it for me? How is it for me? So feel free to put that on the chat section as we proceed. Second question. This can be a yes, no. Again on the chat. Have you ever taken a loan for school fees or for something called an emergency of any sort that something came up, you're stuck, you went and took a loan? Now, we are not saying this is wrong. By the way, we are not saying this is wrong. We just want to start reflecting on the practical things that we've had our clients go through with this issue of loan. So feel free to talk to us in the chat as and when you're free and you're able to do that. Again, this is your webinar. This is your numbers. At one point, I'll be taking you through our favorite tool, Kibeti, because at the end of the day, it's best to think about yourself as we do this journey together. Why do people take loans? Again, and I have some statistics to back this. People take loans for emergencies. I know I've raised that question a while ago. It is possible that you're actually facing an emergency. You didn't foresee it coming. You're not prepared for it. And it's right here. It could be a medical bill. It could be a court issue. It could be, well, school fees is debatable whether that's an emergency or not, because again, you need to plan for that. We'll be showing you how to do that. But sometimes things come up and you are not expecting them and you take the loan. The other reason people take loans is an interesting one. Keeping up with the Bahatis. Of course, that's a Kenyan version of lifestyle pressure. Because I've seen someone do something, or I've seen my neighbor achieve something, or something in my surrounding makes me want to say, I really need to get that. That's lifestyle pressure. That's another reason people take loans. Now, but then this comes sometimes in a very subtle way. It may not be as obvious as I'm putting in this webinar. You know, personal finance, as Edward has said, There's a part of personal finance that's about feelings. What is your relationship with money? And those things drive us. Even without knowing it, I will see something happen. It is not labeled lifestyle pressure. It is not labeled that I'm keeping up with the Bahatis, but something in me makes me want that. And I find myself taking a loan. There are people who take loans for business capital. I want to start a business, or I want to expand a business I have, or I want to try something. You actually go and take a loan and you find a way of paying. Of course, people have taken loans for other reasons. If you feel you want to add something, please go to the chat section. Tell us, is there another reason why people take loans? Okay, talking about that, this is one of the key takeouts for this webinar. Use your income to finance your lifestyle. That's the only thing you need to remember. Please go ahead and live as you wish. I mean, live the kind of life that you want, drive the car that you want, live in the house you want to live in. Take your children to the school that you feel gives them very good education. The trick is make sure you're earning income to support your lifestyle. Then use loans for development. If I need to go to school and increase my studies and become more marketable, or I want to actually try a business, whether it works or not, it was meant for development. Or I want to increase maybe something about myself. It is about development. The mistake that we're trying to avoid is taking loan to finance your lifestyle. That for me is one of the biggest tips, because today in the group, when I saw a number of questions coming up about I want a loan, and there's I think there's this we need to mute someone there. Let me try that. Done. Okay, great. So in the chat section, sorry, in the Kibeti community today, and we've observed it is a need people have, and it's a genuine need. Me taking this webinar, I can tell you, I've actually taken loans, so it's not like it's a bad thing. But we stopped and reflected and said, let's actually have this conversation. And the tip here, make sure you're not taking a loan to finance your lifestyle, to buy a bigger phone. Those are things you use using your income. At the end of the webinar, I'll be showing you, again, how then do you plan it out such that, because the moment you move from loans and you have the mindset of savings, investments, and insurance, you're on the right path to financial success. Don't forget that we use our loans to finance only development. And that's to say, by the way, you're able to take control of your lifestyle. If you can't afford it right now, plan for it. You don't have to take a loan to do it right there. So this is some statistics we picked out from the Central Bank of Kenya and Kenya National Bureau of Statistics 2023. How Kenyans borrow. Where do people get their money? 40% of the people who were interviewed say that they get their money from Saccos or chamas. That's interesting. 25% use mobile money. Fuliza, as you can see there, Tala, Branch, etc. And these are things in the public domain. That's why we are raising them in this webinar. 18% go to banks, and the rest will either go to a friend or a shylock. This is the basic statistics of how people borrow in Kenya. I'll have a slide to show you what is the cost of all these sources. What's the cost of getting money from a Sacco or from a bank or a Fuliza or whatever it is? Stay around, I'll be showing you that. The key insight here, and even from this study, most loans are short-term, high interest, oh my goodness, for consumption. Guys, let's change this narrative. We will not make steps forward in our personal financial lives if we are taking loans for consumption. And I'll say it again, because consumption, you have control over it. So that one you can decide to reduce your consumption. You don't have to actually go into borrowing, and especially when I get to show you the cost of the loans. So I thought to throw this statistic here in terms of what's happening there. More statistics here for you. The reality today, the reality. There's a survey conducted in 2024 by, again, the Central Bank of Kenya, and there are approximately almost 1 million active loan accounts today. So 1 million people have active loan accounts. Then another report by TransUnion that 60% of Kenyan consumers were planning to apply for a new loan or refinancing an existing loan or credit. Again, these statistics are just meant to give us some insight of what are we talking about here. 36% of Kenyans have borrowed in the past. Again, let me say this. Borrowing is not bad. The question is, what are you borrowing for? That's the issue. Remember what we said? There's nothing wrong with borrowing. We just need an awareness why we are borrowing right there. Talking about the right reasons and the wrong reasons, here are some of the reasons. Some of the reasons why you can borrow and you're on the right track is investing in a productive asset. Like I said, with a rental property, you're buying a small Uber, you are actually putting money in a place that is meant to give you more. Caveat, you might invest in a productive asset that doesn't work, that collapses, that fails. So does that mean the loan was bad? The answer is no. There is another section around even before you invest, and that's why we're talking about the side hustle breakfast, and that's why we're talking about the full investment masterclass. Looking at these investments that I'm putting my money in, how likely are they to succeed? How can I increase my chances of success? In that case, in itself, if the mindset that you have is to borrow for investing in a productive asset, super, you are on the right track. You can also invest in a business. For example, you have running a chicken business and you want to increase the number of feeders and wateries for your chicken business. That's perfect. Doesn't have to be even big machinery. As long as you're increasing what you have, that is great. The third reason is so important. You can finance to increase your own skill and how much you can get in return. I'll give you a very personal example. 10 years into my career, I decided to get an MBA. I'm a finance guy, so I'd done my degree, I'd done 10 years of work experience, and I thought I want to get an MBA. At the time, and this I can say because it's in the past, and of course, I'm talking to the Kibeti family, my target was to double my salary. By the time I was taking that MBA, I was telling myself, by the time I finish this MBA and I give it enough time, maybe 2-3 years after that, is it possible to double my salary? At the time, by the way, I didn't have money. So I actually got a loan. I got a help loan, I got a Saccos loan, and I got, I think, a small bank loan because it was quite a pricey affair at the time, given the income levels that I had. I did my MBA. I went through the process and I finished. And I continued looking for opportunities. Ladies and gentlemen, with all humility, I actually doubled my salary. 2 years into graduation, whatever salary I was earning, I doubled it. Now, when you look at the return of investment on such a thing, it is way above many other investment options. So yes, if you're thinking about taking a loan to increase your skill, your employability, if you're in IT, you're thinking about learning a new coding language. If you are a nurse, you're thinking, can I learn a little bit more so that I can become higher in the ranking? Whatever you're doing and you want to increase your skill, please go for it. But also, there are some wrong reasons why people get loans. You're getting a loan to fund a vacation. Please listen to me. People say, I need a vacation to rest. I need a vacation to relax. I need a vacation to, recover. Those reasons are very good. But please use your income. Do not use a loan. There are people who say, I want to get a small loan. I will repay off when I finish my vacation. You could do that, but it's not ideal. How about planning for this vacation before? So you're saying, I want to take a vacation in December. It's going to cost me 80,000 shillings. This is August. So I have 4 months. Is there a way I can get 20,000 every month? It goes back to how can I increase my income or where can I get new deals? But the idea is you're funding that loan, you're funding the vacation upfront. Even if you don't get the entire 80,000, at least get 50 then. Then you can get like a smaller loan than taking the full loan. I want to be as practical can be. But at the end of the day, then you have enough time to plan for your vacation using your income. Number 2, sherehe. Ni wakati wa sherehe. Why don't we just go for sherehe? Now, this sherehe thing, it is not a situation where you take loans. I'm specifically taking a loan because I'm going for a sherehe. Usually it doesn't work like that. The way it works is umeenda sherehe na mapema. Of course, umejipanga. I'm going to spend 6,000 because I'm clear and you've made a very good plan. You're very okay. The sherehe starts. And then in between the sherehe, things escalate in whatever way. The thing that happens at that point, people go into mobile debt. I go to my mobile debt and on the spot, I add another 3,000 to the sherehe, another 6,000 to the sherehe, another 8,000 to the sherehe. Of course, we are not trying to plan your entertainment life, but it's the awareness. Some of the tips about that going to sherehe, determine when you're going to leave. Take an Uber, go home, drive home. Just get out of that environment because if you stay on longer, the most probable thing, you'll end up getting into loan. It's not the best way to get into loan. And of course, it's an example there. You're trying to buy yourself a new phone that you can't afford. That's the interesting thing. If you can afford it, please go for it. But if you can't afford it, just get a lower version. Life will move on. You will not die. You still get your WhatsApps. You still get your photos. You still don't overdo it. The idea is please make your money, then buy the best phone in the world, as opposed to I want the best phone in the world. I don't have the money, so I borrow to do it. It can wait. There's also something about called waiting. It can wait. So those are some of the right reasons and wrong reasons of using a loan. This, I think, is my last slide. How much does it cost to get a loan? So we did very simple math. If you look at the earlier part we've talked about, there are people who get 40% get money from loans from Saccos. We did some simple math. If you got 1,000,000 shillings, loans in Saccos usually average 12%. And how the interest is computed is very interesting because it's computed in a formula that tells you you'll end up paying 305 as interest. That is to say, you've borrowed 1,000,000, you'll return 1,000,000 plus 305,000. So at the end of the day, you'll have paid 1,305,000, with 305 being the interest. Like for like, even if I want to get that loan from a bank instead of getting it at a Sacco, and the bank is still charging me 12% so that we can get like for like. Now, most banks will not give you the loan at 12%. It is more than that. But let's just keep it like for like so that you can compare. The computations will see you paying interest of 334,000. So like for like, a Sacco loan is cheaper than a bank loan at 12%. It's a question you've had so many times. Should I get a loan from here or should I get a loan from here? You are starting to see what the comparison looks like. Obviously, there are models that can compute different amounts at different repayment periods and different interest rates. Again, those are always available. Even internet, you'll get a loan calculator very easily. Let's look at the third one here, mobile money. Now, rarely will you borrow 1,000,000 shillings. Usually borrow 5,000, unamaliza kulipa hiyo. You borrow 3,000, you get to finish. Then suddenly they tell you your limit has increased. Now you can borrow 6,000. Now you can borrow 7,000. There's nothing wrong with that, but what we want to show you is if you're to do a like for like, assuming I can get 1,000,000 shillings from the mobile money. Ladies and gentlemen, if you do that, you're borrowing 1,000,000 shillings every week, you return it. You borrow another 1,000,000, return it. Because that's how they work. For the mobile loans, before you get the next one, you have to pay off what you have. So if you're to do like for like of borrowing 1,000,000 every week and returning it, you'll pay an interest amount of 9 million. Whereas the Sacco is charging you 3 or 5,000, the bank is charging you 334,000. Mobile loans taken every week, you'll end up paying an interest of 9 million. Of course, that is a like for like comparison, but at that point, the interest you're paying is actually 200%. The mobile loans, most of them, and of course, if you notice, we're not giving a brand name. We are saying generally, this is how they are structured to work. And I have a slide here to show you where I'm getting that kind of percentage. So this is it. This is one of the many. So let's take your borrowing 500 shillings every week and you're returning it. Say at your lipi. So the moment you borrow 500 shillings, you have something called an access fee of 1%. So 5 shillings goes every time you borrow. So I borrow on Monday, I repay by Saturday. When I go to borrow on Monday again, I will incur a new 5 shillings. Then there's something called access fee, which again averages 1%. How then does it work? Because I'm borrowing once a week, that whole year, I'll have borrowed 200, I'll have paid 260 shillings as access fee. Over and above, then sorry, so 5 shillings per week becomes 260 shillings per year. It's times 52, sorry, it's like 52. So I'm trying to look at how much it will cost you for the whole year. So 5 shillings every time I borrow for 52 weeks, I've paid 260 shillings. After I pay the access fee, now I pay the interest. Average, I did my research. The interest is about 3% charged per day. If you do your simple math, it will come to 1,095. The assumption is I'm borrowing only 500 shillings every week and I'm returning it. 500 every week, I return it. So when you look at the total amount you've paid that year, when you say annualized, you mean what is the cost for the whole year? The cost is 1,355. Over and above the 500 you've been paying. Ladies and gentlemen, that's how you get your 271%. That is the cost of mobile money. Of course, people say it's designed for convenience. I agree, but please tell me, who uses it for convenience? Sorry. In fact, they say it's for emergencies. Sorry. If you listen to how the narrative is given on mobile loans is, no, it's meant to sort you out on an emergency. In fact, I remember an illustration given by the government official saying, it's at night, your child is unwell, you've gone to hospital, some drugs have been prescribed, and you're supposed to buy drugs over the counter, and you don't have money. That is a true emergency where, ladies and gentlemen, please get mobile money. Get mobile loans. That's a true emergency. But please remind me, when is the last time we spent mobile loans for something like that? It doesn't work like that, because personal finance is behavior. The designers of the mobile loans know very well it's a habit it's a habit you are creating within yourselves. You're creating dependency on this mobile loan such that you know, even if I am broke by the 19th and my salary is coming on the 26th, between 19th and 26th, I'm sorted, because my limit was actually increased to 18,000. The true way of managing your personal finance is actually living within your means. And I'll be running that anytime I have an opportunity, ladies and gentlemen. The answer is living within your means. The bigger amplified issue there is increase your income. Tafadhali, increase your income. That is the real answer. Because we want nice lives. We want to drive nice cars. We want to take holidays. We want to take our children to school. We want to retire well. We want to eat well. We want to take nice photos for the gram. All that is good. Only make sure you earn it. Make sure you have income for it. Now you can quickly see why we are bringing you the side hustle breakfast on I think it's coming on 4th of October. We want to ram that point home. Some people are not able to move because of fear. What if I start and it doesn't work? We want to help you deal with that. Some people say, I don't know how to do it. I don't know where to start. We want to help you do that. There are people who say, the experience I've had in the past has not been good. You see, the past must not determine your future. So that breakfast is a time when we just sit and talk and have experiences. And we have experts actually coming on that day, because before I leave this slide, the answer is increase your income. I think that's it from us. Edward has already talked about the upcoming events. That's what I'm talking about. Side hustle breakfast. It's only 1,000 bob. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll tell you, it is more than worth it. In fact, this 1,000 shillings really is to take care of the snacks and the venue, so to speak. But ideally, this is almost something you're getting for free, because after that, I want to give you something that works for you. We've also talked about the financial literacy webinar on investments only, because it is very wide. I think Edward is going to put the registration links on the chat. Please go ahead and register for these things. It's priced at 5,000 shillings. Ordinarily, these are class that goes to 15,000 shillings and above, because we give you an intro. We also give you a one-on-one session. These are usually very highly priced products, but for us, with the Kibeti community, we want to make it accessible. We want to make it available for you. Please feel free to do that. The last part I want to show you is my favorite. We do not only teach you and leave you just like that. We give you a tool that helps you make what we are saying a reality. That is why I want to actually take 5 more minutes, because I see we are supposed to end at 9, and we will, to show you, some of us maybe show you one more time, what is this tool? Because again, Kibeti, is designed with people's experience in mind. Yeah, many times we've had people ask questions, and it is still something we're developing, but we want to see how can we help our clients actually take this. It's a mobile app that can help you. But let me show you a few things here where this is concerned. So I'm going to share my screen, demonstrate a few things, and then we can close out by 9 o'clock. There we go. My screen is on. I go to Kibeti. It is somewhere here. Of course, if you have not downloaded Kibeti, Edward is going to put the link on the chat. Download it. It's designed to actually help you, as it were. So if you could see that, this is my screen. This is how Kibeti looks like. The part we want to show you is how do you actually see that you're living within your means so that you have something left over for savings, investments, and insurance, because that's how it works. So the wealth journey is right there. If you click on the wealth journey, this is something that we recommend you do once a day. How do you feel about your finances today? Maybe I'm feeling stressed, crisis. So for me, or if you see I've been working on it, maybe today I'm feeling unsure, or I could be feeling stressed, or I could be crisis or thriving. So what happens is this journey, it helps you see what is really happening with my financial life. How you feel about your finances actually determines how you operate with your money. Okay. Step number 2 is allocating your transactions. So today, these are my expenses. As you can see, this is how I spent my money. Yeah, on 7th, I sent money to Paul Mwangi. What was I doing? I was probably, now this way you allocate, and these are my budgets. You can see I've already spent 7% on mobility. I've already spent 1% on myself. It's 1% of what? I had already set up my budget for the month. Now, as I spend money, I'm reducing my budget to see I'm not overly spending. So I'll probably come here. I've already spent 6% on other day-to-day. As you can see, it's something very easy. But let's assume I was spending it on utilities. No, that was Edward. Maybe it was, it could be other. Let's say it's other. Now, the moment you do that and you save, and then you go to the next step, Kibeti takes a record of how you're spending your money. Next time I'm going to spend on Edward, I don't have to allocate again. It has an AI functionality that always remembers, oh, Canon, next time you spend on Edward, was it other? Next time you buy airtime, was it utilities? And so on and so forth. Of course, I have a chance to change if need be, but the idea is that it will eventually make your personal finance so easy because you won't be allocating anymore. If I always go to Naivas on a certain till number and I pay for groceries and I allocate once, the next time I go to Naivas on that till number, I don't need to allocate. Kibet will always know, okay, this is groceries. But should you want to change, you can change. So that's a bit I wanted to show you about Kibeti. It's a short journey. We recommend it. Please take it once a day. Just understand where is your money going because it helps you then budget, stay within your budget. And that way then we start avoiding loans that are meant to finance our lifestyle. This is one of the ways to do it because if I'm living within my means, I have a budget which I'm tracking. By the 15th, if I've spent 70%, I know kutakuwa na shida. That's how the Kibeti is meant to design to work. And of course, in fact, an update that's coming our way is that on a daily basis, Kibeti will be giving you a summary. How is my financial life today? And it will helping you say, Canon, watch this out. This is not going well. consider this. We have great things coming for you. It's only 300 bob, 300 shillings. Please feel free to go ahead and engage with it. We don't shy away from telling you about what we feel works and has helped many people. There are many other things you can do in Kibeti, but I'll stop at that point because that is what is relevant for us today. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's about it from us. I will leave it here. I will hand it over to Edward in case you have any questions, any comments, any feedback. I'm going to stay on and take any questions. These are our contacts. If you feel like you want to speak to us in more detail, you will always find us on these handles. Over to you, Edward. But thanks a lot, guys, for staying on to the end. We hope this was useful. We'll see you again in the next Wealth Wednesday edition.
Okay.
Over to you, Edward.
All right. So thank you. Thank you for that. And I hope that we've been able to take something home. I think personally, I think there's a question by Janice before I go to the final parting shot. Janice is asking, is it
Yes,
300 per month?
I can,
One-off?
I can take that up.
Okay.
So, Janice, it is actually 300 shillings per month. But think about it. The tracking of your budget is actually a monthly affair. So the reason we make it per month is because it is an ongoing need that you need for this service. If you choose to pay per year, instead of paying 3,600, because 300 shillings per month for a year is 3,600, you pay 3,000. All that is in the app. There's a corner, top corner on the profile you can get to see. Or some people have said, look, give me Kibeti forever. And they pay 5,000 shillings for a lifetime access on that. Janice, I'm hoping that answers your question. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. There's one more response. Sami Tirop anasema, thank you, Kenon. How can I come out of expensive loans, e.g. Fuliza?
Sami, I'll take that very quickly. First, I like that you have awareness. It's called self-awareness. You can already tell you're at a place where you want to change. Sami, 50% of the problem is solved by that mindset. How to get out of the expensive loans is look at your expenditure. Where does your money exactly go? What do you spend your money on? So just, you can put it in Kibeti, you can put it on a piece of paper. What exactly do you need to do in a month? I have rent, I have shopping, I have a child in school, I have my car I need to fuel. Just write it down. You'll get a total figure. For the purpose of argument, let's call that figure 90,000. So you realize you need 90,000 a month. Then you ask yourself, how much do I make? If you're salaried, you definitely know your salary. And after you pay taxes, whatever is left over, is it below 90,000 or is it above 90,000? If you're not employed, you're in business, then you can tell business people, we tell them, how can your business make you 90,000 that month? And of course, with awareness, you can tell if I leave, say, October, am I likely to live within my means or am I likely to go above my means? So, Sami, that decision is made prior. Now, after you get to live within your means, let's assume 90,000, you're making even 92,000. The second part is sticking with this budget of 90. That's usually one of the hardest things. How can I stick within my 90,000? You can easily see why we're advocating for Kibeti, that daily thing that you need to check what's going on. That level is called you've stabilized. You are not digging deeper. Then you start asking any extra that you have, you start reducing your debt. It's expensing, it's Fuliza. Maybe let's assume the limit was, let me just look at this.
Okay. Kenyon is still with us?
I don't know if the voice is still on or not. Let's keep going.
We can hear you. We can hear you.
No worries. I'm hoping that you start fast and then you start using any extras that you have to start reducing your. I think I'll let Edward take us to the next section. I'm hoping to drop that as to you there. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Probably the last two, and then we can close it within the next 2 or 3 minutes. Janice said, yeah, sure. Thank you so much. Thank you, Janice, for that response. Tirof also added something around Mshwari, KCB, M-Pesa loan. Mshwari and KCB M-Pesa loan. Probably it's the same structure, if I'm not wrong. Okay, so he says yes. All right. So okay, so I think it's probably within the same structure that probably Kenan had actually alluded to. In terms of first and foremost, it's good also identifying it. But then I think you've gotten the gist of it. Probably anything else to I hope Sami Tirop that has been you've been able to get the response to that. I just tell us in the chat section because we wouldn't want to leave it hanging. Maybe, and I know some of us would also like to probably get an answer towards that. Yes, that's the first yes. Okay, but I think it's within the same tips that our financial coach has just shared with us. Okay, to Rob, we're good. We're good on that. Well answered. Thank you so much. Sawa sawa. All right. So that marks the end of this particular webinar. Asanteni sana for your responses. We hope that we've been able to give you proper value for that. And as always, we are always in the group for any responses or any questions. Kindly don't hesitate. We are there to be able to help each and every one of us. And I want to thank each and every person in person. So thank you, Fozia Ismail. Thank you, Janice Kathure. Thank you, Sami Tirop. Thank you, GM. And most importantly, thank you, our financial coach, Kenan, for taking us through that particular session. I really liked how we've been able to break down the loans, even as we are taking them, to give us that insight and foresight as to how we can be able to just take loans and how can we be able to repay them in the long run. So asanteni sana. As always, if you have any questions about the investments masterclass and the side hustle breakfast, kindly feel free to reach out to me in the chat section. I'll be gladly be able to reshare the link so that you can be able to make your bookings. The deadline for the booking for the investments masterclass is end of week next week because the session is going to be happening on Thursday. And then for the breakfast, you can be able to pay in and around this month and early next month, but you're going to be making subsequent announcements in the group. Asanteni sana, it's been amazing for your patience, for also keeping time. We'll be sharing the link to the video tomorrow so that you can also have visibility on it so that you can take it and also share it to your loved ones. Have a lovely night. Have yourselves an amazing week and see you in the next edition. Asanteni sana. God bless.